Oh, this is no fun.
Hello crew, welcome back to SV Blown Away. And we are on the move. We are going back to anchor. Summer has finally arrived and it's time to finish off some jobs ready for the summer season. And for those of you that are new here, welcome to the crew. My name is Ian and I have owned and lived on board this rusty old steel ketch for over 20 years. But first, a quick recap on last week's video. We finally got the roller furling hoisted up the mast and is installed. I still have to cut the sail and add a UV strip, but that is an ongoing project. And I also got stuck into some of the bright work on deck, thanks to some help from my friends. And most of my winter had been spent building this new floor, only to find that one of the frames was bent downwards. So we straightened the frame out, no more clunky floor.
And today is a rather special day for us because we have to leave the marina. We've been here for winter. We've got most of the work done that I wanted done out of the way. There was a regatta here tomorrow and the marina is fully booked, so I have to get out of here. Yeah, for the first time in like 15 years I'll be solo, which is quite novel. Quite looking forward to it in some ways, dreading it in others. She's a big boat to handle on my own. I have done it, I can do it, I will do it. But it is a daunting task handling 50 feet and 25 tons of steel ketch that's long keel and doesn't maneuver very easily. So yeah, anyway, let's get going. It's a beautiful day outside. A really nice day. Sad to be leaving still, but it is a beautiful day.
And whilst many docks and town quays are for free in and around Greece during the winter months, I choose to go into Odyssea's Marina in Meganisi. And the reason I do it is that I have access to electrical power, I have access to water, and I also have access to the shower and toilet facilities, which for me makes life that little bit more comfortable. But with winter over and summer approaching, it's time to go back to anchor. It's time to say goodbye to old friends and cast off those lines. Who needs a bow thruster anyway?
Well, that was fairly painless. So we're off the dock. And to change the batteries, I want to be in a big open anchorage. I need to disconnect all the electrical system, replace the charge controllers and chargers and everything else to suit the lithium. I had hoped to get everything done before I actually left the marina, which made sense, but I'm out of time and I don't have any options but to leave because they have a regatta with a whole load of boats coming in and I'm in the way. Big anchorage, drop the anchor, go sit there for probably a week, I would guess, for me to sort the electrics out. Remember, on this boat I have a twin electrical system, so I have a 12 volt system and a 24 volt system, so it's kind of double trouble. It's nice when it's all working. It works now, but the batteries are on their way out. They survived the winter because we've been plugged into an AC charger all the time. I suspect on anchor they're not going to last too long. An uneventful trip of 3 miles. How adventurous. Glad I fitted the autopilot though. the autopilot has made my life a little bit easier getting over here. Managed to sort of put lines away and fenders away and stuff like that. Plus I can control the boat from here. Standing in the companionway, I'm not even at the wheel. It's a commercial head, so I can steer it quite easily from there. I get a good view from standing in the companionway.
And I have gone to an anchorage that is known as a hurricane hole by Rod Heichel. And this place is pretty safe in most wind directions, although it is quite gusty with katabatic winds. It's my intention to stay here to change out my batteries. But the prudent old sailor knows to check the forecast before he even thinks about disconnecting his electrical system.
A few boats in here now that haven't dragged, so we're getting pushed around all over the place. My anemometer's busted, but I know 50-60 knots when I see it. There's a lot of boats dragging in here now. The one that was behind me, the classic yacht's gone. I don't know where she's headed off to. On the mud flats probably. There's going to be a lot of carnage from this in the morning. So essentially what I'm doing here, I'm sat on anchor. Every time a gust comes through I go into drive. I push ahead and I steer into the gust. And if you watch the water you can actually see it coming towards you. Just trying to ease the load off the anchor so the anchor doesn't break out. But I don't want to travel forwards. Big one. I was going to do the batteries in the last couple of days. I had 2 days to get it done before some wind came in. I didn't fancy sitting there on anchor, my pants around my ankles with no batteries and nowhere to start the engine, etc. So I've bottled it. I've put it off. I'm gonna do it another day. So what I am currently doing battle with is my chain locker. Now more squeaky floorboards. Now when we repaired the deck and refitted the anchor windlass, we actually moved it about ½ an inch. So we're talking 12 to 15 millimeters. Yeah, that was a mistake. The chain now drops but piles quite badly, and if I were to have to get the chain up in an emergency on my own, it's not going to happen. So I need to be at the helm, I also need to be at the bow pressing the button, and I also need to be running in and out of the workshop and pushing the pile over. So currently I have cleared out the chain locker. The 70 metre chain on starboard is all in the water. The 50 metre chain on port is currently on deck. So my intentions now is to pull the 50 metres of chain through the hawser and put it further forward in the bow section so that it stays there. Hardly ever use the port anchor. So I'm kind of thinking push that chain section forwards a little bit more, and then the starboard anchor has the whole of the V section where the pile normally sits exclusively for itself. Might work. Let's find out. And as with any chain locker, it is not easy to access. So yeah, my thought process is that this particular chain here... No, not yet, not ready. So if I move this little lot up to there... No, not yet, stop it! Ah! Oh my god. Come on. And with a steel hull, it's like an oven in here. Oh, come on. Oh, stuck. Oh my god, I've got to go up on deck. Bollocks. Fucking hell. So the chain caught the windlass cover and pulled the windlass cover into the chain hawser. So I've emptied this section. I move the chain forward a section. I may need to create a plywood partition or something there, just to scoop that chain in, but if I ever need to use it, I don't think that's going to be the problem. So the other chain's 70 meters, this is 50 meters. So the other chain in this section, 50 meters, is going to pile to about here. So that chain shouldn't collapse on top of the other one. And when it's full, 70 meters of chain is about this height here. So similar to the height of the 50 because of the slope of the bow. So I'm thinking I can get away with that. Let's hope so, eh? Because that was not much fun. But the thought of trying to get that anchor up in bad conditions on my own has been playing on my mind a bit, because it was literally be on the helm, be on the anchor control on the bow, and then run down in here every time there was a chain jam. It never used to jam until we moved those hawsers about an inch. So just, I don't know why. Hey everybody, I'm back on anchor, and guess what? Solar panels aren't working. Disaster. Without solar panels I can't run my fridge, so I'm fixing the well, I'm looking at the solar panels. I think it's a bad plug, so I put these on ages ago when I first did the system, and they're supposed to be waterproof, etc., but I think looking at the corrosion on the pins, this is the problem. And Sunwear gave me some new panels not very long ago, and in that is a wiring kit. So I'm hoping I can switch the plugs out, because these aren't Sunwear plugs that I used. They were just generic waterproof plugs that I bought in the UK. So fingers crossed. Sunday, supermarket's closed.
petrol station was closed, so I can't run the generator. On the bright side, I didn't buy a whole load of frozen stuff because having been on anchor for 6 hours, my batteries are dead. That's how bad my batteries are, which is why I bought the lithiums last year. So that one's now connected. Let's go and see if that's made an improvement. So we now have 8 amps out of the PV and 2 amps out of the wind generator, which will now run our refrigerator. Success! We're mixing up epoxy resin and repairing the rubbing strake. So during the winter months I have taken some damage to the side of the boat. And while I wait for a suitable weather window to make repairs to my electrical system, I need to crack on with some of the other jobs that have been hanging in the wings for quite some time. During the winter months, at some point somebody has hit the side of Blown Away and have cracked the teak rubbing strake that protects the steel hull. The rubbing strake is made up from 2 planks of wood. The first plank is bolted through the hull, and then the second plank is bonded and screwed to the first plank. And luckily for me, only the outer plank has sustained any damage. Now I can make a repair to this quite quickly using epoxy. And it's quite important that I seal these 2 planks back up, because if I don't, moisture will find its way between the 2 planks and eventually find one of the bolt holes. Once it finds the bolt holes, it's only a question of time before it corrodes the steel plate behind it. That is so sunken into those cracks. That is a huge amount of actually got into that, which is exactly what we needed. And with the damage repaired, I can now varnish the rubbing strakes. Then you know what it's like. You varnish one piece and then another piece doesn't look as good, and then I had time on my hands, so I varnished everything else. and it really does have a feel-good factor once all this varnish is done. Yes, I know, I'll be doing this again in a couple of years' time, but do you know what? When I look out the window and I see that glistening varnish, I don't care. I like the fact that wood gleams. I like the fact it puts a smile on my face. So to hell with it. A little bit of effort, big smile. Hopefully next week I will be getting into these batteries, but I really do need a good weather forecast because sitting on anchor with no electrical system scares me. I was about to put the hydro vane together, just about to put the rudder back on the shaft, and then noticed that has got a big crack running down it. Not much holding that on now. That's how easy that came off. Slightly scary. That bush from falling out. Doesn't even need to be uber tight. Normally something like this I'd put thread lock on it, but it doesn't really need to be wound up, and they're dissimilar metals anyway, so I don't want to strip the thread because I think this is aluminium. I'm fairly confident that's handy. A big shout out to my Ko-fi supporters, you monthly guys, the McKenna family, David Luchford and Captain Svetlana. Thank you so much for your monthly donations. And these amazing people on your screen right now who made one-off donations into the coffee fund. This is an old coffee addict saying thank you very much. And then of course the patrons, Matt, Michael, Ian, Miles, Timmy Offey, JG, Graham LV and Jim Bracken. Thank you for going the extra mile, gentlemen. It doesn't go unnoticed. And if you're waiting on a polo shirt, we do have some problems with Greek customs. A couple of shirts have been sent back to me, and there is a workaround for the shirts. We will get them sent to you directly by the manufacturer in the UK. Who knew sending shirts in the post was a crime? Please don't forget to hit like if you haven't already, then subscribe, ring the bell if you want notifications, and share the video with your friends. If you got this far, thank you, and see you again next week.